What if our culture's most celebrated virtue, hard work, is actually the greatest obstacle to the abundance you seek? What if your soul doesn't want you to struggle? What if it wants you to dance? If you are exhausted from trying to be both a spiritual master and a titan of industry, you have arrived at a place of profound liberation. It is time to put down the heavy tools of the ego. Subscribe to the hidden voice, and let us, together, learn the physics of effortless, joyful creation. Part 1. The pain of the burned-out striver. Let's be honest about the hustle. Let's talk about the exhaustion that lives in your bones. You are doing everything right, by the standards of two different worlds. In the morning, you are the devoted spiritual seeker. You wake up early. You meditate on abundance. You journal your gratitude. You do the visualizations. You say the affirmations. You work to align your energy with the frequency of wealth. You are, by all spiritual metrics, doing the inner work. And then, your real day begins. You become the worldly warrior. You drink the coffee, you answer the 100 emails, you take the back-to-back meetings, you push the projects forward. You hustle. You grind. You put in the 10, the 12, the 14-hour day. You are constantly strategizing, optimizing, and striving, fueled by the relentless belief that your effort will eventually be rewarded. You are, by all cultural metrics, working hard. You are living two full-time jobs. You are the monk, and you are the mogul. And you are utterly, profoundly, soul-crushingly exhausted. And the deepest pain is not just the fatigue. It is the confusion. It is the gnawing sense of betrayal by the universe. You are doing everything you've been told to do. You are doing the inner work and the outer work. You are pushing with your mind and pulling with your spirit. And yet, the abundance you seek remains a distant shore. The financial stress still hums beneath the surface. The feeling of burnout is your most constant companion. And so a terrible story begins to form in your mind, a story of personal failure. I must be doing it wrong. My affirmations aren't strong enough. My meditations aren't deep enough. And clearly, I'm not working hard enough. The guilt is twofold. You feel guilty when you are meditating that you're not working, and you feel guilty when you're working that you're not meditating. Your life becomes a prison of shoulds, a tightrope walk between two conflicting paradigms, and you feel the rope beginning to fray. The joy of your spiritual practice is choked by the anxiety of your worldly ambition. And the satisfaction of your hard work is poisoned by the feeling that it's all just a meaningless, exhausting struggle. You are doing everything, and it feels like it's all for nothing. This is the pain of the burned-out spiritual striver, and it is born from one single, fundamental misunderstanding of the laws of creation. Part 2. Ego work versus soul play. Now, we must introduce a distinction that will serve as a key to unlock your energetic prison. You have been treating all work as if it is the same. But there are two fundamentally different kinds of work, powered by two entirely different energetic systems. The first is what we will call ego work. This is what our culture calls hard work. Ego work is fueled by the past. It is motivated by fear, by a sense of lack, by the need to prove your worthiness, and by the deeply conditioned belief that value must be earned through struggle and sacrifice. Its core assumption is, I am not enough, so I must work hard to get something from the world to make myself whole. The energy of ego work is the energy of push. It is the feeling of forcing, of striving, of battling against a resistant universe. It is tense, contracted, and heavy. It is the energy of your jaw being clenched and your shoulders being tight. It is a state of war. The second is what we will call soul play. This is what the masters call effortless action, or flow. Soul play is fueled by the present moment. It is motivated by joy, by authentic expression, by a sense of curiosity, and by the deep, inner knowing that you are already whole. Its core assumption is, I am already full, and my work is to joyfully overflow my unique gifts into the world. The energy of soul play is the energy of pull. It is the feeling of being drawn, of being inspired, of being a channel for a creative force that is larger than you. It is relaxed, expansive, and light. It is the energy of losing track of time, of being so immersed in an activity that it no longer feels like work at all. It is a state of dance. The reason you are exhausted is because you have been trying to achieve a soul-level result, abundance, which is a state of overflow, using the ego's primary tool, hard work, which is a state of lack. You are trying to fill your cup by drilling a hole in the bottom of it. The more hard work you do, the more you reinforce the underlying belief that you are not enough and that life is a struggle, and the more you broadcast that signal to the universe. Your soul does not want you to work hard. Your soul wants you to engage in the magnificent, joyful, and deeply personal play that you were designed for. It knows that true, sustainable, joyful abundance is never the reward for your struggle. It is the natural, inevitable byproduct of your alignment. The key is not to work harder. The key is to finally give yourself permission to play. Part 3. The Somatics of Work and Play. This distinction between the struggle of the ego and the flow of the soul is not a philosophy. It is a physical reality. Your body is a perfect and honest barometer that tells you, in every moment, which energy system you are operating from. You just need to learn how to read it. So, let us do that now. Let's conduct a somatic investigation to prove to your skeptical mind that you already know the difference. Find a quiet space and bring your awareness into your body. Let's first tune the instrument to the frequency of ego work. I want you to bring to mind a task in your life that you consistently have to force yourself to do. A task that feels like hard work. Perhaps it's a part of your job that you dread, a recurring administrative duty, or any activity you perform out of a sense of should or must. Don't just think about the task, feel the thought of doing it, and notice what happens in your body. Feel the subtle clenching in your jaw, the tightening of the muscles in your neck and shoulders. A preparation for battle. Feel the sensation in your chest. Does it feel open and expansive? Or does it feel like it's contracting, closing down, putting up a shield of resistance? Notice your breath. Does it become shallower? Do you find yourself holding it slightly? This feeling, this tension, this contraction, this subtle bracing, this is the physical signature of ego work. It is the feeling of your life force moving against its own natural current. It is the feeling of struggle. Now, with a long, slow exhale, release that feeling completely. Let the memory of that task dissolve. And let's tune the instrument to a different frequency. The frequency of soul play. I want you to bring to mind an activity that you love so much, you can lose all track of time while doing it. It doesn't have to be your job. It could be a hobby, a passion, a simple pleasure. Perhaps it's gardening, or playing an instrument, or deep in conversation with a loved one, or solving a puzzle that fascinates you. Bring that activity to mind now. And as you do, feel what happens in your body. Feel your jaw and your shoulders. Do they clench? Or do they soften, relax, and release? Feel the sensation in your chest. Is it contracting in resistance? Or is there a sense of opening, of warmth, of joyful expansion? Notice your breath. Is it shallow and tight? Or does it become deeper, slower, more rhythmic, and effortless? This feeling, this release, this expansion, this sense of energized calm, this is the physical signature of soul play. It is the feeling of your life force moving with its own natural current. It is the feeling of flow. Now, the great question. Which state do you think is more magnetic to abundance? The contracted, resistant, painful state of struggle? Or the open, expansive, joyful state of flow? You have been taught by your culture that the first state, the state of pain, is the price you must pay for abundance. This is the great lie. The universe is not a cruel taskmaster that rewards your suffering. It is a resonant mirror that reflects your state of being. The state of soul play, the state of flow, is the most creative and magnetic state a human being can enter. It is the frequency of genius, of inspiration, of synchronicities. And the key to spiritual abundance is to stop honoring the state of struggle and to begin the sacred work of orienting your entire life around the state of flow. Part 4. The Lineage of Wisdom. This idea of aligning with a natural, effortless flow is not a modern productivity hack. It is one of the most ancient and profound spiritual truths of our planet. You are not just learning a new business strategy, you are stepping into a lineage of wisdom that has guided masters for millennia. In ancient China, the sage Lao Tzu watched the world with a quiet and observant eye. He noticed that the great works of nature were accomplished without any sense of struggle. The trees did not strain to grow. The rivers did not struggle to reach the sea. The planets did not work hard to stay in their orbits. All things in nature, when left to their own devices, acted with a kind of effortless, spontaneous perfection. He called this perfection the Tao, the natural way of the universe. And he saw that humanity's suffering came from one single source, our tendency to resist this natural flow with our own frantic, forceful, and arrogant efforts. The solution, he taught, was the practice of Wu Wei. As we have discussed before, this is the art of effortless action, of non-doing. It is the practice of aligning your personal will with the universal will, so that your actions are no longer a struggle against the current, but a joyful ride upon it. Lao Tzu wrote, "When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you." Let's unpack the profound physics of abundance hidden in that verse. To be simply yourself is to operate from your zone of soul play. It is to be the apple tree, joyfully and effortlessly producing apples, without trying to be the oak tree. When you are in this state of authentic expression, you are not competing with anyone, because no one else can be you. Your unique expression is, by definition, without competition. When you operate from this state of non-competition and authentic self-expression, your energy is coherent, magnetic, and attractive. People, opportunities, and resources are naturally drawn to the person who is resting in the quiet confidence of their own being. The hard work that you have been doing is the very definition of comparing and competing. You have been looking at the world, seeing what it values, and then struggling to contort yourself into that shape, even if it goes against your own nature. You have been the oak tree, working desperately hard to produce an apple, and then wondering why you are so exhausted and have so little to show for it. The path to spiritual abundance is a path of radical simplification. It is the process of unlearning all the ways you have been taught to struggle. It is the courage to stop doing the 10 things that feel like hard work and to focus, with your whole being, on the one thing that feels like play. This is not laziness. This is the highest form of wisdom. It is aligning your personal energy field with the effortless, abundant, and infinitely powerful energy of the Tao itself. You are learning to stop being the struggling rower, and to become the master sailor, who uses the great, invisible winds of the universe to arrive at her destination with grace and ease. Part 5. The Parable of the Apple Tree and the Oak. To fully grasp the difference between the soul-draining effort of ego work and the abundant ease of soul play, let us tell a simple story. The Parable of the Apple Tree and the Oak. Imagine a beautiful, sprawling orchard. In this orchard, there lives a magnificent, old oak tree. It is the epitome of strength, of stability, of endurance. Its wood is hard, its roots are deep, and its presence is noble. It has worked very hard its entire life to become this strong. It has weathered 100 storms, endured droughts, and fought for its place in the sun. It is a very successful oak. Next to the oak, there grows a young apple tree. The apple tree is different. It is not as hard or as tall as the oak. It is more pliable, more graceful. And in the late summer, something magical happens. Without any apparent struggle, without any visible sign of hard work, the apple tree's branches begin to bend under the weight of hundreds of beautiful, ripe, red apples. The apples are a gift, an effortless overflow of the tree's very nature. The whole orchard is filled with their sweet fragrance. The oak tree looks over at the apple tree, and its mind, the ego of the oak, begins to churn. It sees the abundance of the apple tree, and it feels a sense of lack. It thinks to itself, that apple tree is so much more productive than I am. Look at its results. I am strong, yes, But what do I have to show for it? Just these useless acorns. I must learn to be more like the apple tree. I must work harder. And so, the great, noble oak tree begins to try to produce an apple. It strains its branches. It clenches its leaves. It channels all of its immense strength, all of its legendary work ethic, into the desperate, painful effort of forcing an apple to grow from its boughs. It spends its entire season in this state of frantic, internal struggle. And at the end of the season, what is the result? The oak is utterly exhausted. Its branches are sore. Its energy is depleted. And it has produced no apples. It has produced only what it was ever designed to produce. A few more hard, small acorns. And now, it judges itself a failure. I worked so hard, it thinks. And for what? I am clearly not good enough. The oak's mistake was not its work ethic. Its mistake was its premise. It was judging its own unique, oak-like nature by the standards of an apple tree. It was trying to play the wrong game. The apple tree is not better than the oak. It is simply different. It produces its abundance not through struggle, but through authenticity. Its only work is to be the most magnificent, healthy, and true version of an apple tree it can be. It draws nourishment from the sun and the soil. It allows the seasons to move through it, and the apples are the natural, inevitable, and joyful result of its own aligned being. You have been the oak tree, trying to produce apples. You have looked out at the world, seen what it values, perhaps the apples of a certain kind of career, or a certain kind of wealth, and you have been working, struggling, and straining to produce those results, even when it goes against your deepest nature. And it has left you exhausted, and feeling like a failure. The key to your abundance is not to work harder. It is to finally, lovingly, and completely accept that you are an oak. It is to stop trying to be the apple tree. It is to discover what magnificent acorns, what unique, powerful, and authentic gifts you were designed to produce. And to realize that when you focus on being the most authentic version of yourself, your own, unique form of abundance will appear with an ease and a joy you never thought possible. Part 6. The Vow of Authentic Action. Does this simple story of the trees resonate with you? Do you recognize the times in your life where you have been the exhausted oak, struggling to produce someone else's fruit? If this parable brings a sense of clarity and self-compassion, I invite you to put down your roots in this community. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. This is an orchard where we celebrate all kinds of trees, a space dedicated to the discovery and expression of our own authentic, God-given nature. And now, we must move from this understanding into a conscious, decisive action. We must make a new vow. A vow to end the struggle. A vow to stop trying to be the apple tree, and to begin the joyful work of becoming the most magnificent oak you can be. This is a declaration of allegiance to your own soul, over the demands of the outside world. Find your center. Feel the deep, strong roots of your own being. Feel the unique, unchangeable truth of who you are. And from this place of quiet strength, make this declaration. I now see that my struggle and burnout have come from trying to operate against my own nature. I honor the part of me that worked so hard to fit in, to succeed by the world's standards. I thank it for its effort, and I now lovingly release it from that duty. I release the belief that my worth is tied to my struggle. I release the belief that abundance is a reward for my suffering. I release the need to be anything other than what I authentically am. Now, let this vow become your new compass for all action. From this day forward, I vow to choose authenticity over effort. I will no longer ask, what is the hardest path? I will ask, what is the truest path for me? I will learn to listen to my own energy as my ultimate guide. I will honor the feeling of flow as a sacred signal that I am aligned with my purpose. I will respect the feeling of resistance and contraction as a loving message that I am straying from my path. I commit to discovering my own unique fruit, the gifts that I produce naturally and joyfully. I will stop judging my acorns because they are not apples. I will learn to see them as my own perfect, powerful, and necessary contribution to the world. Take a deep, conscious breath, and feel the profound shift. The exhausting, external battle is over. The joyful, internal journey of discovery has just begun. You are not lazy for letting go of the struggle. You are wise. You are finally coming home to your own true nature. And you will find that in the soil of your own authenticity, the seeds of your greatest abundance are already waiting to grow. Part 7. The Physics of Flow. You have made the vow to choose authenticity over effort. You have committed to becoming the oak tree, not the apple tree. To solidify this new way of being, we must understand why this works, not just as a beautiful metaphor, but as a scientific and energetic reality. We must explore the physics of flow. The state you have been living in, the state of hard work, is not just a psychological preference. It is a measurable, biological state. When you are struggling, forcing, and operating from a place of stress and fear, your brain is primarily producing high-frequency beta brainwaves. High beta is the state of emergency, of survival. It's the fight or flight response. It narrows your focus, floods your body with stress hormones like cortisol, and effectively shuts down your access to the creative, intuitive parts of your mind. When you are in high beta, you are trying to create change in the world of matter. You are trying to force particles to rearrange themselves through physical effort. This is like trying to build a sandcastle one grain of sand at a time. It requires immense, exhausting, physical effort and yields very slow results. The state of soul play, the state of flow, is also a measurable biological state. When you are engaged in an activity you love, when you feel present, creative, and joyful, your brainwaves change. You shift out of high beta and into the lower frequencies of alpha and even theta. Alpha is the state of relaxed, creative focus. Theta is the state of deep intuition, insight, and connection to your subconscious mind. This is the realm where the logical mind goes quiet, and a deeper, more holistic intelligence comes online. When you are in alpha and theta, you are no longer trying to create from the world of matter. You are creating from the world of energy and information. You are no longer just manipulating the grains of sand. You are accessing the blueprint, the energetic pattern, that organizes the sand. This is the key. Hard work tries to change the effect. Flow state work changes the cause. When you are in a state of flow, you are literally more intelligent. You are more creative. Your intuition is heightened. You see connections you couldn't see before. You receive insights and ideas that seem to come from nowhere. This nowhere is the quantum field, the universal field of intelligence that you can only access when you are in a coherent, low-frequency brainwave state. This is why your best ideas come in the shower, or on a walk in nature, or just as you are drifting off to sleep. These are all moments when your analytical mind relaxes, your brainwaves slow down, and you naturally slip into an alpha or theta state. So, the great secret to spiritual abundance is this. The quality of your state of being is infinitely more important than the quantity of your effort. 1 hour of joyful, inspired flow state work is more powerful and more productive than 20 hours of stressed out, resistant, high beta, hard work. Your soul doesn't want you to work hard, because it knows it is the least effective and most painful way to create. It is trying to guide you toward the effortless power of the flow state. It is trying to teach you to stop being a struggling builder, and to become a master architect, who creates not with brute force, but with a clear and coherent vision that commands the laws of energy. Part 8. Cultivating Flow. The state of flow, this neurological sweet spot of creation, is not an accident. It is a skill that can be cultivated. While you cannot force yourself into flow, you can create the optimal conditions for it to arise. These are the rituals of the new paradigm of work. The first ritual, energy first, action second. The old paradigm dictates that you act first, and then hope to feel good when you get a result. The new paradigm reverses this. You must feel good first, and then act from that state of being. Your primary job is no longer to manage your tasks, it is to manage your energy. Before you begin any important work session, your first ritual is to deliberately change your state. Do not open your email. Do not look at your to-do list. Instead, for 5 or 10 minutes, do something that reliably brings you into a state of joy, gratitude, or peace. This could be a short meditation focused on an elevated emotion. It could be listening to a piece of music that makes your heart soar. It could be dancing around your room to your favorite song. It could be watching a funny video that makes you laugh. The specific activity doesn't matter. The intention does. You are consciously and deliberately changing your brainwaves, moving out of the stressed-out beta state and into the creative alpha state before you begin your work. By starting from a place of coherent energy, your actions will be infinitely more inspired, effective, and effortless. You are putting the fuel of joy into your engine, instead of the fuel of fear. The second ritual, the unproductive playground. Your brain has been conditioned to equate value with productivity. We must now retrain it to see the value in aimless, joyful play. Play is the natural doorway to the flow state. This ritual requires you to schedule a non-negotiable 30-minute block of unproductive play into your workday. This is not your lunch break. This is a scheduled part of your work. During this time, you must engage in an activity that has absolutely no goal, no purpose, other than the joy of the activity itself. This could be doodling, playing with clay, juggling, playing a musical instrument you are not trying to master, or simply walking in nature and following your feet without a destination. This practice does two crucial things. First, it gives your analytical mind a much-needed rest, allowing your subconscious to work on problems in the background. Second, it trains your nervous system in the feeling of the flow state. It reminds your brain what it feels like to be in alpha and theta. The more you practice this state in a low-stakes environment, the easier it will be to access it during your high-stakes work. The third ritual, the effortless audit. You must become a detective, hunting for the clues to your own unique genius. Your genius is the place where what you are good at, and what you love to do, intersect. This is your natural flow state territory. At the end of each week, take 15 minutes to perform an effortless audit. Look back at everything you accomplished and ask yourself 2 questions for each task. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much effort did this require? 1 being effortless, 10 being a painful struggle. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much energy did this give me? 1 being draining, 10 being highly energizing. Your goal is to identify the tasks that are low in effort and high in energy. These are your apple tree activities. These are the core functions of your soul's purpose. You also want to identify the tasks that are high in effort and low in energy. These are your oak tree activities, the ones that go against your nature. The purpose of this audit is not to judge yourself, but to gather data. Over time, you will see a clear pattern emerge. This data will give you the clarity to begin redesigning your work and your life. Your mission is to gradually and intelligently eliminate, delegate, or reduce the oak tree tasks, and to double down on, expand, and celebrate your apple tree genius. You are using the feedback from your own life to build a career that is a perfect expression of your soul's play. Part 9. Your genius is your service. You are learning the rituals of flow. You are learning to manage your energy first, and your action second. As you commit to this new way of living and working, you begin to understand a profound and liberating truth. The universe does not need your sacrifice. It needs your joy. The cultural programming of hard work is rooted in a deep, unspoken belief that our value comes from our suffering. We are taught to be martyrs. We believe that the more we struggle, the more we sacrifice, the more noble we are, and the more we deserve to be rewarded. But your soul knows that this is a complete inversion of the truth. The state of struggle, of hard work, is the state of contraction. It is the feeling of being the small, separate ego, fighting a lonely battle. When you are in this state, you have very little to offer the world. You are operating from a place of depletion, and all your energy is consumed by your own internal war. The state of flow, of soul play, is the state of expansion. It is the feeling of being a joyful and open channel for a creative intelligence that is much larger than you. When you are in this state, You are tapped into an infinite source of energy. You are not being depleted, you are being refilled. And it is from this state of overflow that your greatest service to the world is born. The things that you do with the greatest ease and the most joy, the activities that put you into a flow state, are not selfish indulgences. They are divine signposts, pointing directly to your unique genius. They are the very activities that you were designed to do, the specific gifts that your soul came to this planet to share. When you are being the magnificent oak tree, providing shade and strength, you are not struggling. You are in your genius. When you are being the beautiful apple tree, effortlessly producing fruit, you are not struggling. You are in your genius. Your hard work is a sign that you are operating outside of your genius. It is the friction that tells you that you are trying to be something you are not. Your soul does not want you to work hard because it knows that your greatest contribution, your most profound act of service, and the source of your greatest abundance, will always be found in the place that feels most like play. Your joy is not a distraction from your purpose. Your joy is your purpose. It is the compass that points you toward your highest and best contribution to the world. To follow your joy is the most unselfish and spiritually productive thing you could ever possibly do. Part 10. The Permission to Play. And so we arrive at the very heart of this transformation. We have seen the difference between ego work and soul play. We have understood the physics of flow. We have learned the rituals to cultivate it. And now, we must face the one single belief that has kept us locked in the prison of struggle for our entire lives. The belief that we do not deserve abundance unless we suffer for it. Bring your awareness into your heart and feel the weight of that belief. The belief that easy means less valuable. The belief that joy is a reward, not a starting point. The belief that you must earn your keep in the universe through toil and sacrifice. This is the core program of the burned-out striver. This is the belief that has made you feel guilty for resting, ashamed of your own joy, and suspicious of anything that comes to you with ease. And the final great epiphany, the one that unlocks the floodgates of spiritual abundance, is the radical and liberating realization that this is a lie. The universe does not reward you for your suffering. It rewards you for your alignment. It does not pay you for your struggle. It pays you for your joy. Your joy is the signal. It is the energetic yes that tells the quantum field that you are in a state of coherent, creative overflow. And the universe, in its perfect, impersonal physics, rushes to match that signal with experiences, opportunities, and resources that are a perfect reflection of it. Abundance is not the prize you get for working hard. Abundance is the echo of your authentic, joyful play. Let this be the great permission slip you write for yourself today. The permission to let it be easy. The permission to follow your joy, not as a weekend hobby, but as your primary spiritual and financial strategy. The permission to believe that what you do with the greatest ease is your greatest gift. Feel the profound release in this. The release of the noble burden of the struggle. The release of the need to prove your worth through your exhaustion. The release of the belief that you have to choose between being spiritual and being wealthy, between being authentic and being successful. In the paradigm of the soul, they are one and the same. The more authentic you are, the more you play. The more you play, the more you are in a state of flow. The more you are in a state of flow, the more value you naturally create. And the more value you naturally create, the more abundance naturally flows back to you. The key was never to work harder. The key was to finally give yourself permission to be who you truly are. This joyful, effortless flow is your natural state. It is the frequency of your soul. If this journey has helped you to give yourself permission to put down the tools of struggle and to pick up the instruments of play, then help us share this liberating message. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. Like and share this guidance. Every interaction you make helps to dismantle the collective hypnosis of hard work and awakens someone else to the joyful possibility of a life lived in authentic, abundant flow. Thank you for your courage to choose ease. Now go and play. The universe is waiting to reward you for it.